with the second session of the day titled Stress Management, which is also the only non-technical session but carries a lot of significance, and the topic is something much needed to be addressed. The presenter for this session is Dr. Dixit Garg, Professor, National Institute of Technology, Kurukshetra. He was awarded PhD in the area of just-in-time, that is JIT purchasing. This was the first PhD in India in this area. He holds 35 years of long experience in teaching and research, which includes more than 12 years as professor. At present, he is working as the senior most faculty in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at NIT Kurukshetra. He has published around 285 research publications in different international and national journals and conferences, which also contains 2 books and contains and chapters of different books. He has guided almost 58 masters and PhD scholars and carried out various prestigious projects. His research work has been referred and admired by a large number of researchers in India and as well as in abroad. He organized 2 national conferences and AICTE, ISTE and TechCube sponsored STTP. He acted as editor and reviewer in many international and national journals and conferences also. Parallelly, he also performed a number of academic administrative duties and presently working expert member of various committees. He is also fellow and life member of different professional bodies. His research papers were awarded as the best papers by Industrial Engineering and Operation Management Society, Industrial Engineering Journal in the year 2020 and 2019, 2017 and 2016 respectively. He was also awarded the Eminent Engineering Personality Award and selected for Shiksha Ratna Puraskar, Best Citizen India Award, Bharat Excellence Award, and many more. So we are deeply thankful and truly blessed to you for joining this session. And I request you to kindly start the session.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Dixit, and also I also convey my sincere thanks for inviting me. And about my presentation, that is on the area of, that is in the area of stress management, and if we say about this, that nowadays the environment in the world and in the India, that is changing fast, and the social conditions, they are also changing fast. And if we see that from the childhood, from the school days, our children, they are under pressure because they want to compete and come forward. And in all these conditions, because every child, every school student, and they are much ambitious from their beginner days, and they are much conscious about their profession, and otherwise also in the young and even at the old age also, the tendency to compete, that is increasing day by day. That may be the case of the industries, that may be the case of any profession, that may be the case of the service sector, and everywhere people want to compete and they want to go ahead. And even the conditions at many places are such that if we don't compete, if we don't come forward, our business, our work, that may shrink. And nowadays, one more thing is that the competition, earlier that was the local one, and nowadays this has become the global one. And any organization, or we can say that after signing the accord of the World Trade Organization, when the features of open economy came in India about 30 years ago, at that time, and that was seen that around the world, there are some organizations who have captured the whole market around the world, and we can see their presence all around the world. We can take the example of Apple, we can take the example of Samsung, we can have the example of McDonald's, and in the same way, there are the many organizations you will be able to find at USA also, at Europe also, at India also. And if we see the Indian conditions, at this also, we can just see that how the business empire of Ambani and Adani are increasing fast. And those who were not aware of the competition, they have lagged behind. So when we want to come forward, of course, we will have to face many problems. And for that, the word tension, the word stress, that has, that has become common these days. If we talk about 40, 50 years ago, this word was not so common. But nowadays, this word has become very common. And we can say that the happiness index, if we see the data in India, in the world, that is, in that our ranking of India, that is going down day by day. And if we see that, if we talk to any counselor or psychiatrist, we will find that the even the number of the patients and even the number of school children they are coming to them, that is increasing day by day. And it is expected that after some time, the disease of depression, that will be the second highest after the heart attack in the world and also in the Indian conditions. If I just share some experience, yesterday I was I was in some meeting at at the one university, at the government university in Haryana, and I just happened to meet the vice chancellor after 2 3 years. I just saw that his all the hairs they have become white. And apart from this, about the 7 8 years ago, when I noticed this in the case of my other friend, who had become the registrar of one university, university, the same thing I have seen that just within a period of 1 year, each year, that that color changed fast. I just asked them the reason. They tell that in the seat they are working in the stress, and that's why they face this problem. And apart from this, the other administrators and the others who are working at the key positions, they are also working under pressures. And that's why if we see that our Indians, they work very, very well at the US conditions or the Europe conditions or the Australia conditions, because there they face the pressures less than the in the Indian conditions. And that's why they are able to work and they work in the better way, and their outcome in the performance, that is also better. Now, oh, based upon all these guidelines or these regions, this has nowadays become essential for everybody to become cool, to remain cool, and whatever the pressure and the stress that is being observed, that should be managed, and the calm and the coolness at the house also, at the office also, and at every place, that should be managed. And our environment, that should be the clean in this way also. Now, if we talk about the stress, in the if we say from the engineering point of view also, the stress that we can say as the pressure upon area, and in this case in the area, that can be termed as the internal strength of any individual. So that also indicates that if we increase the internal strength of any individual, in that case we will be able to reduce or diminish stress. Or in this case, the pressure, that can be said as a term that relates to the time and the tension that is associated with high fluctuations of energy level. When the energy level of the mind that fluctuates at high rate and stress, when we experience these fluctuations every moment or for a long time, then this becomes stress. So in this way, the stress for the engineering point of view also, for the scientific point of view also, we can see. Now, if we see that in the engineering or the management, we say that we call about the inputs and outputs. And this has been said that as you sow, so shall you reap. So our quality of the input, that must be good. And we can say that if for our mind point of view, our input, that is our thoughts, what we think, this is converted into the feelings, and that feelings, they reflects our behavior, and whatever our attitude or the behavior is, based upon that we have the outcome of the performance. So this diagram also indicates from the scientific point of view, or from the engineering point of view, that our quality of thoughts that should become good. And the same thing we also talk in the case of the total quality management, that the quality of the raw material, quality of the semi-finished components, and other inputs that should be good. So here also, if we talk about our mind, that the thoughts of our mind, that should be good. If one faces the stress, what the negative effects of the stress that are being faced, that affect our physical health also, mental health also, emotional health also. In the case of physical health, we may see the weight gain or loss. One may become overweight or underweight, and unexpected hair loss. The BP may be high, and in the same way, one can have the many other diseases also. And if we see that apart from this, what are the other wonderful gifts of the stress? They can be said as the heart diseases, indigestion, migraine, hypertension, lower back pain, cancer, skin disorder, etc. And here this has been also said that in the emotional side, our mood swings, change of our mood, anxiety that we face, and as we can say that anxiety is the root cause of the many health problems. And this can lead to depression, can also lead to unhealthy coping strategies because when one faces the high pressure, and in order to cope with that, he takes the support of the alcohol and drugs, etc., which are also much harmful for him. Now, if we just talk in the basic way of the stress management, how effective stress management, in the any conditions or in the routine also, or even in the stress also, we have the two options, either smile or not. We can just understand that out of these, which we should adopt, what is good for us. And similarly, in the case of the problems, we will face problems. When we want to do something, we will face problems. And when we want to achieve much higher and higher, we will have to face challenges and problems. They are to be met. So at the time of the problems, we have two options. Either we should learn something out of that, and this will lead to our further development, or we may go to depression. So it is up to us that out of this, which we should choose, and what is good for the effective stress management. And in general also, we have the two options in all the conditions, whether we should have the tense life or tension-free life. So that is up to us that out of these two, which one we want to choose, or we can say that if we control ourselves, we will be able to have the effective stress management. The self-empower for how to empower ourselves for the stress management. The first thing is that I am a soul. And earlier, if we talk, people have the last doubts about this. And now, scientifically also, this has been proved that soul is the driving force of all our activities. And soul power, that has also been realized scientifically also. And if we have the feeling that I am a soul, and what the power of soul is, or in the spiritual way, which has been defined, and if we work accordingly, in that case, we can just assess the condition of our mind, that how our mind becomes free and how we are able to work in the better way. And the greatest fear is the fear of death. And that also everybody knows that one has to go one day. And if one considers himself as a soul, then this fear, either this may go, or this may reduced drastically. As we say that that in the management, when we talk about the just-in-time system, or we say about the inventory management system, if in the any system we are able to reduce the inventory from 6 months to 2 days or 2 hours, as has been achieved by the many industries, in that case also our performance is improved like anything. The philosophy of drama, if we just have the full faith in the God, and if we have the strong belief of God, and if we just adopt the basic principles of Bhagavad Gita also, that as has been said by Lord Krishna, let us believe the philosophy of drama, and whatever the work we are doing, whatever the karmas we are doing, and the name of the God what we are doing, if we have the just philosophy in our mind, in that case also our input, the quality of thoughts, our quality of input, that can be improved, and we will be able to have our healthy mind. Accept the situation. Situation may come, they will come. As we can say that nowadays, the coronavirus, that situation is around the world. We may like or may not like, we will have to accept the situation. And if we accept the situation, and if we have the forecast of the coming situation, and if we plan and work accordingly, as in the industries also what we do, or in the institute also what we do, we just forecast the future scene. As in the case of the infrastructure, also you can see that when we build the road, as has been done by the NHI, that we just forecast the situation after 10 years or 20 years, what will be the condition of the traffic, and based on that, we make that infrastructure. Or we can say that for the civil engineer to have the good infrastructure, the forecast of next 10 to 20 years, that is at least essential. And situations, whatever is, that has to be accepted, and one is supposed to work accordingly. Then manage your anger. In the any condition, the peace and the calm of individual, that has to be managed. Anger, many experts, they have also defined as this, or they describe this anger as the danger. Or at the time of the critical situation, our anger, our state of mind, that must be controlled, and that will be stable. Connect yourself to God. If we have the strong belief in God, and we work accordingly, and if we work after that, we can say that the state of mind, its health, that can be further improved, and we are able to work in the better way. Then, about the stress management, these are the some more beliefs, or some more techniques, or the strategies. One can be said as about the body relaxation exercises. These has been also given by the many experts, many, let us say that yogis also, about the spiritual experts also, and nowadays even the doctors have also developed this. And in this, the breathing techniques and the guided imagery, based upon that, one can relax our body. They are prescribed, and the physical exercise that by yoga or workout in the routine, they have been also prescribed, and the meditation by the different organizations. And in this also, the many systems have been developed, and about the counseling with the experts, the counseling, and in that also the talk therapy and the life coaching as prescribed by the expert counselors. And they can also manage that in the acute cases, and in the general, if one has the attitude of happiness, we may even note down that the happiness index of Pakistan is higher than India. However, if we see that the poverty and the economical conditions in the Pakistan, they are worse than India. So this also indicates that our happiness index that does not correspond to money. And about our time management, whatever the 24 hours we have, out of this, how we manage our time, how we work, our way of work, that can also give us the better output, and we are able to manage our mental state also, and our stress also. Now, earlier, this has been talked a lot about the meditation, and however, the many experts, the many spiritual experts, and many doctors, they have also given the many techniques. And here I have said some of the basic. The moment you are in tension, when anybody that is uncomfortable for the tension, you will lose your attention. The attention of individual that will be diverted, and in that state, you are in the total confusion, or one may get confused. And when the confused mind is there, what will happen? That you will feel irritation, or one will have the feeling of the irritation, and that will spoil the personal relations. Because in order to achieve the good outcome, the interpersonal skills, they are also very important. How to manage the people, how to have the human management, that is the most important to obtain the teamwork. As we can say that in our institutes also nowadays, there is the pressure from the government about the NAC also, about NIRF also, and we also, and moreover, with the arrival of so many institutes, the pressure on the institutes is to survive and compete. That has also become greater one. So the human management system to have the interpersonal skills, that has also become more important. And when one feel irritated with the anger, his personal relations, that will be spoiled, and because of that, the outcome, that will be affected adversely. And ultimately, by this, one will not be able to get the cooperation, and the much complications, they will be developed, and BP may rise, and one may have to go for the medications, one may have to go for the doctors when one develops some diseases, or in their state. So instead of understanding the situation, try to think of the solution. After the situation, whatever situation is, in that situation, whatever we can do the best, that must be thought. And many problems are solved by meditation, because meditation, that increase our energy level. And when the energy level is increased, the physical and the mental health, or the strength of individual is increased, and many problems will be solved. This works out better in your profession. In our profession, we will be able to work in the better way. And we can say that if we have such intentions, if we work in that way, if we want to avoid tension, let us practice meditation. And that's why in the organizations, and if I say that for the consultancy work, about 1 week ago, I have gone to some organization, and they told me that they have about their 8 to 10 sites at Delhi, and that organization, that was also the some construction company, and the construction company, their executives told me that their owner, what he has done, that every site he had made one small temple, and once or twice a month, some spiritual activity take place. And when you see that, when one comes to the workplace and see the temple, and otherwise also when we go to temple, we can just examine and assess our state of mind, and that at that time how we feel, and how our quality of the thoughts they become good. And that's why if we see that in the many industries, they have the one place of the temple or the worship place. Now, the silence. That is also a sort of the powerful meditation. Silence does not mean that we keep mum. And we can just see that in our mind anytime, many thoughts travels. And many times these thoughts, they may be in terms of the not even 100 in terms of the thoughts. So at least for some time, this should be as low as possible. And let us say that if we have some movement of silence in our daily life, in that case, how the quality of our thoughts is improved, and how our way of work is improved, and how our outcome is increased. And if we say that about the many advantages which we obtain out of silence, we can say that silence is spirituality. In that, in our personality, the place of spirituality automatically comes. Simplicity, that also comes to in our personality. And silence brings satisfaction. We feel satisfied. And this has been also assessed by the experts that if we want to become happy, first we should be satisfied. And silence makes you smile. And when we see that when one has a smile, how his personal relations they are improved, how his outcome is increased. Silence is fitness. Silence makes you sensible, or our these sense, or in our personality, these are increased. Our sincerity level, that is also increased. The stability of the mind, that state of mind, that is also improved. And when our energy level becomes high, our creative power becomes high, we will obtain the solutions on our own. Our mind works in the fast way, and that gives the solution. And our internal strength, that is also increased, and the feeling of selfishness in the adverse way, that is also removed, and self-swerve, or to control ourselves, that state that can be also improved, and we can also become stress-free by this. The worries, they can be stopped fully, and one may like to sing in the happiness, and it is strength, it is created. We also become serviceable, and our sacred, that is increased, our sympathy level is increased, and our inside, our safety, that we feel safe, the serenity, the stillness of the mind, that is also increased, and self-respect, because what others think about us, that is not that important, that what we think about ourselves, that is more important. So that is also increased. We also become spontaneous, as we can say that during our profession, our work, when we face many issues, we are supposed to give the solution immediately. So that strength is also increased. Or we can say that silence enables you to know all secrets of life. And many good organizations, they also advise that during the daytime, at least 2, 3, 4 times, for some moments, we should have the state of silence, and that's why nowadays a good organization, such type of seminars on the such topics, they are also being organized so that the health of the executive and the managers, that should be good, and the outcome of the organization that can be improved. Now, earlier, this was also said that in order to have the good stress management, the time management part, that should be also good. So, one should be organized, one should work in a systematic way, one should be structured, and our short-term goals and the long-term goals, they must be set, and we should work accordingly nowadays. That's why you can see that when we apply for some high positions, we are being asked to write our short-term and the long-term goals. That also indicates the attitude of any individual. Use of planner, and if we use this for our daily schedule activities, in that case also our time management system that is improved and our way of work is improved. But the main thing is that we have to improve our work of way. Apart from this, these are also some other helpful tips. Perceptions and the expectations, they should be changed. They should be the realistic one. And that should be the positive one. The negative feelings are to be avoided and the positive feelings, they are to be increased. And in order to manage well our job, our project, our work, that should be broken into the parts. And our goals, whatever we have set, they should be reasonable and realistic. What happens that in the organizations many times, they hire some consultant, and what the consultant does, that they just give the picture and take some heavy fees, and after that they never come, and we can see. This has been seen that the organization, whatever the performance he was giving earlier, and after that, it has become even worse. So our goals, which has been set, they should be the reasonable and the realistic. Our boundaries should be set, and values and belief, they should not be compromised in order to increase our intellectual strength. However, nowadays the trend is that this has become the common belief that in order to get something more and more, one will have to compromise with the values and beliefs, otherwise one cannot achieve. But that we are doing at what cost? At the reduction of our own strength. Devote some time to himself, to yourself, to himself or herself, because some time out of the 24 hours, and that is also within the silence, that some moment, some time, that should be devoted to yourself. Forgiveness. One may face the many bad experiences. One should have the feeling of forgiveness. And in the forgiveness, one has not forgiven others, but he has forgiven himself. How? Because at the effect of the negative feelings, the first effect that comes to the individual who provides that. So who have the feeling of forgiveness? First of all, its good effects, they are being experienced by healthy thoughts and spiritual thoughts. About that we have talked. Relaxation, and let us keep ourselves relaxed. But this does not mean that we should not work. We should work in the relaxed way rather than in the tensed way. Don't try to change others, other mind, etc. What we do that, we try to dictate others. We try to change others. We try to change other minds. But as per the conditions, in order to get the cooperation, instead of that, we should try to change ourselves. Because if we are good, we are healthy, then we will be able to obtain everything good and healthy. Change yourself as per need situation. As it been said that don't try to change others, but change yourself as per need situation. Or this has been also said from the engineering point of view, the management point of view, that flexibility in the system that should be large, so that as per the changes, as per the need, one should be able to cope up with that. Your remote control should be with you. Because of the others, one should not get angry or one should not get disturbed. As has been said earlier, that one should have the feeling of this self-worth. And we can say that just one can imagine that to control the mind of others is easy or to control the mind of ours is easy. Obviously, if we talk about these, then the control of our mind is easy. And as has been said that periodic cleaning of mind important, that is important, like body, as we take bath daily, we keep our body clean. The same way, the cleaning of mind periodically, that is also important. And that's why the silence, that can be also the system. And as an infrastructure engineer, you see that what you do as civil engineer, they develop the design system which will have the good traffic control. So in our mind also, the traffic control, and that is the traffic of thoughts. This should be controlled. And if we have the periodic cleaning of this, and we will have the silence, let us say that a few times a day, or the meditation, then is our mind. That will be also periodically cleaned. Not to be angry, we will not be angry, and we will be stable. And when one is stable, all the work of the design also, planning also, and all the activities, the quality wise they will become good, and we will be able to obtain the environment of the total quality management in the system, about which we talk. Now, if we say that about our life, about the balance sheet of the life, what our belief system is, what we think, what we thought, that is the important, and this should be quality wise good. Our inner thoughts, they should be controlled well. We can just assess our thoughts, its balance sheet in our mind, how much positive thoughts we have, how much negative thoughts we have, how much positive feeling we have, how much negative feeling we have, and based on that, we can just assess the state of our mind, state of our thoughts, what the balance sheet says, and what the balance sheet says, we will have the similar outcome. And the same thing that is under the actual conditions, that has been described in the common diagram, that if we see ourselves, the balance in life is also very important. Our 80% of the day spent in work, college, or school, or at the workplace. We have to recognize each aspect of life. One may achieve something very, very good in one field, but if that has been achieved at the cost of the much loss in the other fields, we can just assess that that's of no use. And one may complain that I am not getting enough time for family, personal life because of work. So for that also, as described earlier, the time management, that is essential. And each aspect of the life, that should be recognized, and work should be carried out accordingly. Now, in the balance sheet, doing the things right, not the setting things right. If we do the right, the things will be automatically set right. And let us have the controlled life because of the circumstances. It should not be controlled. That is said in our attitude earlier. Or we talked that from the management engineering point of view, that knowledge, skill, and attitude, they are the most important for the successful of any engineer or the manager. And feeling of the creativity, innovation, and research, they are important. And this has been also said that the organization which is giving much importance to the feeling of the or the state of the innovation, creativity, and research, they are at the business. And if we see that our SMEs in the ideal conditions, they have not been able to compete because the emphasis on the creativity and research and innovation, that was less, and in the MNC and which has come, that this number was more. And we can say that because of the circumstances, our energy level or the mental state, that should not be affected. They are affected, of course, but the effect should be less, much less. And let us enjoy the journey of life, every day of it, not waiting for a perfect day in future. Whatever our present state is, whatever situation is, let us enjoy and face it, and let us work accordingly. And we can just have the, as in the management, in the engineering, we talk about the benchmarking. Those who have fared best, let us learn from their example, that how they manage their system. Let us not compare ourselves with the others, or if we compare, that is in the useful way, in order to do something better. And if we, if in the adverse way, we are insulting ourselves. So let us respect ourselves, and let us have the feeling of the satisfied. Let us have the feeling of the satisfaction and the happiness. And we have talked a lot about the attitude. And let us have the positive attitude. And in this case, we can see that let us think the advantage of every situation. Let us have, and because any situation, if we think, assess that, we may think it adverse, but it may have also some advantages. And let us have the learning out of every situation. Let us live in the present, not lost the future or the past. Focus on challenges, problem of the challenges, they will be faced. And let us focus on their solution, to be hopeful and proactive. The hopefulness, this is also a positive feeling, and proactiveness when we are active, when we work accordingly. So in that case, we can say that our attitude, that will be positive, and let us look on the brightest side of everything. Every situation, every incident, it will have some better side. As nowadays we are facing the situation of COVID, coronavirus, but we can say that the many things. Let us say about the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the Triple Bharat, about that which we were not understanding much earlier. Now this has forced us to think of that side, and we can say that our online system, earlier we have never expected so much out of this as we are doing now. And we can say that even the negative situation, they also teach us many things. When we face challenges and when we overcome those challenges, we become better. And our attitude, that becomes more and more positive. Now, as has been described earlier, for implementing the positive thinking also, that quality of thoughts, what we think, that is the most important, and based upon that, feelings will be developed and our attitude will be developed. Whatever our attitude is, based upon that, we will have the actions. As the Bhagavad Gita also said that जैसे हमारे कर्म रहेंगे वैसा फल मिलेगा. Almighty gods, whatever our karmas are, we should have the strong belief from the Almighty God that whatever actions we have done, जो भी हमने कर्म किए हैं, उसके आधार पर, उसके बेस पर हमें फल मिलना ही है. And that has been said by the Lord Krishna, Almighty God. So let us have the full faith in Him. And we can say that for the quality of input, the initial input, that is the quality of our thoughts. And nowadays, in the management term, we talk more and more our attitude. But here we can say that the attitude that is developed based upon the quality of our thoughts. And based upon that, our feelings will be developed. And the management people have also realized that attitude of individual and organization, that is most important for its outcome, for its success. Now, as has been said that based on that also, the benefits of the stress management, physical health, that gets better and better. We feel more energetic and our stamina is increased. Our emotional health, that also becomes better. We have the stabilized emotions. We have the positive attitude. We will feel happy. We will have the feeling of hope. We will become hopeful. And ability to focus, that will be improved because we should have the focus of the outcome, and for that our work of the design, planning and execution, that will be also improved. Whatever the task we have given, and as this has been also recognized that continuous learning and continuous achievement, that is also nowadays very, very important. And our ability to focus on these sites, that is also improved. Our personal and the family life becomes good. Our quality of the life becomes good. Our professional lives, that will also become good. And based upon that, when our personal life is good, our family life is good, our professional life is good, and we become more and more productive. And we can say that in that case, our outcome, that will be improved drastically. And that's why nowadays, the good organizations, they are also focusing on the stress management and the similar heritage. And this has been also said that the spiritually also is defined, and from the management point of view, that is also approved, that we talk about thoughts. संकल्प से सिद्धि, जैसे संकल्प हमारे अंदर आते हैं, जैसे हमारे थॉट्स हैं, based upon that we will have the results. As we can say that the feeling of the love, peace and happiness, that should be imparted by ourselves to our family, our friends, our organization. When we provide these feelings to them, the first beneficiary are not anybody else but we, because we automatically develop the same in our mind. and because of that our happiness index is increased, and our physical and the mental health has become good, and the quality of the food that we would like to take, sattvic bhojan, that tendency also we will develop, because whatever the food we eat, that also affect our physical and the mental state, and our sleep, the quality of the sleep, that also becomes good, and feeling of the detachment, that also will develop, as has been also described in the Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna preached to Arjuna that the feeling of the Nishkam Karma, as he has said in the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, these three states, they have been described much, and based upon these contents, one may also try to have even, and even the some part is achieved, the quality of life that will be improved, and the stress, they will be reduced like anything. And or if I give you some examples, one my friend who had the business of the jewelry, he said me that some time ago, that the day when his mood is good, he is happy, he he gets more and more customers, and he gets the more business. And during the year, when the weather is not good, because of that, the mental state, the mood is not good, and on that day, the business is also not good. And if we also see the example of the service people, all of us receive the many service calls, and in those service calls, what we see that they always talk in the happy way, happy mood. And let us say that the service people you may get for some loan from the bank side, from insurance company side, and those who listen to phone, they may get irritated, and even the many people say many things to them, but they are tuned in that way that their mental state is not disturbed, but they remain stable, because they have been trained in that way. And as has been said about the attitude, if we see the merits of others, what happens that this has been also said that a man is known by the company he keeps. If one see the good quality of others, he is enjoying the company of the good ones. And if one sees the adverse quality of others, one is obtaining the adverse thoughts of the bad company of thoughts. So this can be said that that statement is also proved that a man is known by the company he keeps. So one should have the company of the good thoughts, and that as we have talked about the anger, those who are doing anger on the others, they may affect it, may not be affected, but the person who is doing anger, the first adverse effect that is obtained by. So one can say that the effect of the adverse feelings that is faced by the individual first, and this has been also said that the stress that also affects the blood vessels in the brain, etc. So we should have the good stress management, that the stress as has been said, that can be also said by the as the pressure upon the coping capacity. And earlier I talked about the strength. So this strength of the coping capacity that should be increased, and this was also said that meditation is a powerful tool by which we can increase this, and we can say that our attitude or the belief system that plays the key role in this, and this has been also recognized by the experts nowadays that most of the diseases they are from our mind. So this thought process, this should be assessed, and this should be made quality-wise better and better, and the continuous improvement as we seek in the institutions, in the organizations, here also we should seek, and because based upon the mental strength, mental health, the emotional health and physical health becomes. This has been nowadays also, or this has been also realized long ago by the doctors even. And our thought radiates, and as we can say that the radiation effect, because our thought radiates even if we don't say anything to other, but our thought radiates, and based upon that the message is conveyed. And as has been talked that environment of the house and the office that must be good, our food should be good, जैसा हमारा मन रहेगा वैसा हमारा मन रहेगा, और जैसा मन रहेगा वैसा हमारा मन रहेगा. And we can see that all the individuals are different with respect to each other, one another. Or we can say that CD of all individual, that is different. And we should realize this. We should accept this. And that's why we must work accordingly. And that's why the executive health checkup, that managers and the executives, they should remain healthy. They should be healthy and stress-free. That is also the goals of the organization in order to achieve the better and better outcome. And one I also want to share the experience with you, which I just obtained from my friends who has faced coronavirus, and they have become right. They have said that the mental state during the corona stage, that is also very important. Those who have the feeling of the good thoughts, they faced the corona very well, and they recover fast. And even now, the Zero survey that has also revealed that this is also possible, that many of us, we are working in our daily life in the normal way, and many of us have also faced coronavirus, and we have also automatically recovered out of this, or our immune system was so high that we did not face even any sign of this. So what is that? The immune system, that can be said as also the governed by our mental state or the mental power. So we can say that, and if we see that for the infrastructure point of view also, for the infrastructure engineer, in this area also large challenges they have been faced, and they are being faced, and they will be also faced. and that also the ability of the manager, ability of the top management, that is also very very important. And for that, the healthy mind, because in that state also one will face the challenges, and during that, the healthy mind state, that is also the most important. And if we and for the infrastructure point of view also, in order to develop the better management structure also, lot of energy is required. And as has been I said that we Indians, we are more or less working under the environment of the stress in daily conditions. That's why when we go to USA or the Europe, Australia or other countries of the better environment, we perform much better. And based upon all these thoughts, this can be said, this can be concluded that we should have we should have the good health, and that health that is governed by the mind. And in the work, the situations, we will get the stress, we will face problems, and we should be able to manage during that state in the effective way. And one example I've seen at my institute, Anatim Fitra, one person, deputy registrar, he worked he worked for the 8 to 10 years under the very very highly stressed environment because of the conditions. And but he remained cool, and after that, whatever situation he is facing, he is always relaxed, and he is always giving the good performance. And his relations with all the people are also good. So, what is that? That under the challenges, one should be cool, one should be able to manage well. This will give the good outcome. And in the developing countries like India, to have the positive environment, to have the good environment, to have the good index, and to have the good outcome, because our journey, we have to go much ahead. And in the future also, we have to compete, and we understand our position in the very very aspects of the world. And in order to achieve the much and much development, we should be able to work in the better and the better way. So that's what I want to explain to you. And in my work, I have made efforts that the various contents, they should be also linked with our life, and what situation we face. And as we can say that our topics, it was such the much time that should be also given for the intestine. So now I
Okay.
Invite
Yes,
the queries from you.
okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience and benefits and needs of stress management. Moving ahead with question answer session, we would like to take some question. Yes, Anand sir, you have a question. You may ask directly to sir.
Yeah, that seems a very nice presentation, sir. Sweet and clear. Sir, I have a problem with meditation, like meditation or anything to do. I mean, usually I'm starting that thing, sir, but it's not completing the task. Like, for example, meditation. I have attended a meditation session. After that, I started for a couple of days and stopped. How can I cope up that problem, sir? Even consistency, sir. Consistency. mainly.
Well, well, well,
Sir,
uh, well. In this case, what can be done that first of all the practice it
sir,
should be continuous for some time because if you want to make it as the part of your personality, it will take some time. Let us say that this has been also assessed by the experts that when you do something continuously for the 21 days and after that you will see the effect, and also that maybe for a small time, but this exercise, this should be the regular one, right? Because if you do for the 2 days, 4 days and stop that, in that case, one may not be able to see the effect, right?
right, sir. Thank you, sir.
And also, yes, please.
Sir, please continue, sir.
And in this case, you may also see that now if you go on the YouTube also, you will be able to obtain the last material, and also some pioneers in the field. As I said a few that one institute, that one Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence at Hyderabad, that and also the other organizations, all of you, I think that you must have also heard some talk, at least for some time, of Sister Shivani, right? And because when one just have the board talks about this, and apart from this also, one may have also the songs of that, or the main thing is that for some significant point or time, one should enjoy the company of these pioneers, and after that one will be able to see that, right?
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
So do we have another question from? Yes, sir.
Sir, I am Professor Singhai, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How are you, sir? How are you?
Sir, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I want to ask, sir, whether is there any method to measure the stress? How much a person is stressed? Means, is there any scale?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are there.
Kindly elaborate, sir. Kindly elaborate, sir.
Actually, about this, if you see that they are also available with that psychiatrist, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because many times that after seeing the patient, that what they do, that they just measure the rate of the pulse, and based upon that they decide, and apart from this they have the many methods, and in those methods what they did, that they ask the questions, and based upon that they give their conclusions, and
Yes.
apart from this also, of course they have the such equipments also.
Under stress, sir, our response time also increases actually, sir. If you are stressed and if you drive, then possibly you may get an accident because your response time has increased actually.
Yes, but we may also see that many times we also realize that when we feel some pressure at that time, we work even better one. Let us say that many times at the time of the examination,
Crisis.
right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
we can say that when there is some activity that is a time bound one, or we can say that that also depends upon the attitude of the individual.
Hello.
Yes, Bhagat sir, you may ask your question.
Sir, actually nowadays a new tendency of teaching in the form of problem-based learning is started. So am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nowadays the tendency of problem-based learning is started in the engineering institution, in architecture institution, or other professional education institutions too. So, because people are having different approaches towards stress, few people who like it depends upon their innate behavior, na, how they are cognitively reacting with the events and how they are uh, dealing, how they are perceiving the events and they're feeling like it's a stress event or not, like that, na. So my question is that while giving problem, while giving the problem in the class to the students, so students are reacting on the problem in different way. So how to deal such kind of situation कि बच्चे को stress ना हो while no, what should be the ideal approach while teaching in the institution, while teaching in a college or the class में, तो उस टाइम पे what should be the approach कि बच्चों को PBL में कराना भी है ताकि उनकी कैपेसिटी और competence बढ़े and they will be able to cope up the stress event also because each and every individual has different approach towards stress, no?
Yes, sir. Okay, so sir, in this case also what happened that as you have said that under the actual conditions, the boys or the girls or students and even us, that the we can say that the response of any individual that is based upon his or her attitude, and one thing is that the environment that should be the healthy one, and in order to have the healthy environment, that let us have the feeling of the love, peace, and happiness, or like this within them, so that they should be able to interact in the healthy way. They should be able to interact in the free way, or they can be also said that whatever the problems they are facing, they can also talk if they want to talk individually on the mobile phone also. So that can be also encouraged, right? And in this, what I feel that what we can do that based upon the syllabus contents, the various tasks that we can also put on the YouTube, so that any student, any guy, he can also have that, he can also listen to that talk as per the time, as suits him. Because when we talk once, the everything will be clear. But when that is available in the recording from the YouTube, that one can listen as many times as you want. Or what I want to say that let us ensure that their mental state is free, as we can say that as the parents also, if we have our children, that if the children are not talking the free way, with us. So in that case also fault is ours. So in this way also we are supposed to build the the environment that is the healthy for them.
Very, very true, sir. Maybe healthy environment can bring change
Yes.
in the education system. Very true, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Is there any question? Is there someone else who wants to ask something from sir? Vivek sir, do we have other questions? Okay, so we are done with the question answer session. Okay, thank you so much, sir. This is all from the discussion end. And thank you again.